Low ovarian reserve, diminished ovarian reserve, early menopause. These are all conditions that we see daily in the Hope Coaching Program and things that we support daily in the Hope Coaching Program. Before we jump into today's story of hope and case study, if you've been told you have low AMH, if you've been told that you have no other options but IVF or donor egg because you're going into early menopause, I want you all to know that there is hope for you. And this story today that we're sharing with you is proof of that, which is why I think it's so valuable to share this story with all of you right now. Today, I'm going to be sharing the story and what we did for this member of the Hope Coaching Program so that you can see that there are other options on your journey to get pregnant. For those of you who don't know, my name is Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the fertility expert, and I've been working with couples for over 19 years through my online coaching programs and right here in San Diego at my clinic. And this topic of low AMH, and not just low AMH, but low AMH earlier as being younger, under 35, is something that does happen and that we see, unfortunately, on a regular basis. And I do believe that all of the time that there is a cause for it, that there is a reason, and if we find that cause, that we're able to get results. But I also know you don't want to continue to check in to get tips and support. You want to get pregnant. And that's why you need to come to my upcoming live training. I've created a free live training for all of you about the importance and value of having your own fertility coach and what it could provide for you. By the end of this training, you're going to realize how much hope there really is for you and how much potential there is for you to get pregnant with the right guidance. So I want to invite you to join my free training by using the link in the description below. All right, now let's get into this story of hope, which is going to be amazing.
I initially started trying to conceive when I was 31. I'm right now 34, and I was diagnosed with low AMH. And that really kind of blew the wind out of my sail because I always thought it would be super easy to get pregnant. And I thought it would be, like the movies where, you just get pregnant like that. But that wasn't really the case for me. Prior to the Hope program, I really thought that the only way people, could actually conceive if they had a low AMH would be through IVF or fertility treatment. But that wasn't the case.
I think it's a really important point. So I'm going to stop here right now, okay? And I want to hit home on this. We hear all the time in the news about all these movie stars and actresses or whatnot getting pregnant using IVF. And we hear all the benefits of IVF. And I'm not saying those things are not true. They absolutely are. There's tons of wonderful things about IVF. But it's made it so commonplace that we think of, if we're struggling, then the next step is to go towards IVF. And there's lots of things that can happen between that first thought of, we're having a hard time, and getting to IVF, which is exactly what she's trying to say here. That the only option she was told by her OB was IVF, but it doesn't mean it's the only option for you. It means that's the only option they have for you. And I want you all to know that there are other options, if you want them, to get those results and hopefully get pregnant naturally like she did. All she mentioned was that she had low AMH, but when we did our evaluation when she joined the program, what we actually found was there was actually so much more that needed to be supported. Some of those things, it wasn't just low AMH, it was also high FSH. It was also other hormones. There were also other hormones that needed to be supported, like her DHEA and testosterone levels and her estrogen. Those were all low. And as a result of all of those things being off, she actually had irregular menstrual cycles. And so we needed to support all of those hormones and help her create a regular, predictable, and consistent menstrual cycle that she could then track and try naturally to get pregnant, right? Because she knew when she was ovulating. And these were things that weren't happening for her prior to that, and that her OB wasn't really helping her correct and address. Her solution was just to say, go to IVF. In addition to that, we saw that she also had some stress issues, sleep wasn't great, and her pituitary needed some support. And so these are all areas that we found in our assessment. There were a couple more secondary things as well that we found that we needed to address. And that's why it took her so long to get pregnant, because we needed to first and foremost regulate these things, improve her estrogen, improve her DHEA, lower her FSH, increase her AMH. These are all things that needed to happen and did happen for her on her way. And as a result, her cycles became more regular. She was able to sleep better, manage her stress better, and her hormones were regulated. And that's when everything starts to click. And so then the question would be like, so that took over a year? No. What happens is you have to support all of those areas first. And we did that through addressing her diet, her lifestyle, what supplements she was taking, and that took time. And then after those things were regulated, then she actually has a real chance to conceive, because prior to that, she's just trying, but we're not seeing the results because she doesn't have a real chance because those hormones weren't properly supported and her cycles were irregular. Now she does. And what she needed to do at that point, and her husband, is just try. And that takes time. And so after she gave herself the opportunity of just trying, that's when she conceived. And that's the point that I want to hit home for all of you. It's about creating and addressing and correcting those foundational issues that we're seeing. And then from there, we have to still give you time and opportunity to try before we see the result of an actual successful pregnancy. Okay, let's keep listening.
And I want women to know that that's not the end all be all. You don't necessarily, have to do fertility treatments such as IVF, because naturally you can conceive naturally. And that's what Marc Sklar and his team really, advised. And so right now I'm 34 and I'm about to turn 35 in May, and I'm about 11 weeks pregnant, and
Yay.
I'm super, super thrilled.
Yeah, so, that to me says so much that she was able to believe in herself and trust in the process. I can say, she didn't mention this, but I think the hardest thing for her and her husband was probably the patience and trust to continue to move forward with the process and to continue trying. But what gives you that faith and that trust to keep going and that patience? It's when you're seeing results. And so she was seeing results along the way that let her know that she was seeing change and things were improving. And that's why she kept going and continued to follow through with the plan and get the results. And often that is one of the harder things that we ask all of you to do, is give us that trust, give that trust into our process and have the patience to follow the plan and give that time to get the necessary changes that you need. So if you've been trying longer than you would like, and you've looked at so many different options and you still have questions and don't know why you're in this situation or why you've been told to go to IVF because no one's really given you answers, then those are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in my free training that's coming up shortly. But you do have to register to secure your spot to join me for that, and you can use the link in the description below. If you already know that you want to work with me and my team, then you can also use the link in the description below to apply to join my Hope Coaching program. That link is easy, that application is straightforward, and once you apply, you'll know if you qualify to join us in the program. So what did you like about this video? What about this story of hope stuck out to you and really hit you in your heart? Comment below and let me know. Do you have questions about your personal fertility journey? I want you to comment below and let me know as well, because I want to compile those and create a new video to answer those questions for all of you right here on Fertility TV. So leave those questions below as well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, then you need to be, so hit that bell to subscribe and get notified when I put out a new video for all of you. And until the next video, stay fertile.